This is One on One. We're pleased to welcome Whitney Donhauser, who is President and Director of the Museum of the City of New York. Good to see you.
Great, thank you for having me.
This is a museum that is based over 103rd and 5th Avenue?
That's correct.
Founded in 1923, correct?
Yes.
Describe the museum.
It is a museum that is in a very traditional building, but we deal with issues that relate to modern and contemporary New York life. So we interpret and celebrate the city and really share with our public what is great about the city as far as its diversity, as well as its perpetual transformation and the challenges it faces.
Why do you think a certain number of New Yorkers and those around New York don't know enough about the museum?
I think we often, people confuse us with New York Historical Society, and I think also our location has made us, for many New Yorkers, something that they have not spent a lot of time on that part of Fifth Avenue. So I think we've been under construction for the last 10 years. And
10 years?
10 years. We completed construction in 2015, and the building is completely renovated and really, really beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks great.
It's gorgeous. But you also look at the future.
We do.
Explain that.
So, well, we just opened in November an exhibition on 400 years of New York City history, which is actually amazing that there is no place in a museum in this city that actually looks at the city's history. And there is a tradition around the world of city museums. So you can go to Mumbai, Singapore, Paris, London. So there's a tradition, certainly in major urban centers, of a city museum. But the thing that we actually do that's unique is in our overview of New York City history, we have over a third of our gallery space is dedicated to the future of the city and really urban issues that New Yorkers face every day.
Such as?
So the challenge of affordability, affordable housing, the challenge of climate change, rising sea levels, the challenge of earning a living, the challenge of diversity, people living together. And so this is something that challenges of transportation too. And these are the issues that we cover in that gallery and ask our visitors to express what's on their mind. We have a question, we have a table where we ask what if, and they can answer that question, pose that question to a series of experts. So what if, all vehicular traffic was eliminated from the island of Manhattan.
As we look behind us here
exactly.
on Broadway
exactly.
and 66th.
And then we take those what-if questions posed by our visitor and then put them up on our website and have experts answer those questions.
But what also is fascinating about it, someone says, really, that's what a museum does? You look at questions that deal with, I don't want to say political questions, but relations with the Muslim community.
Right.
Such as?
Right. So in our overview of New York at its core, we show that the first Muslim immigrant was in the mid-17th century who was a property owner. And we have this on our map showing the diversity, because our premise is that what makes uniquely the city, New York, the city that it is money, diversity, density, and creativity.
Do it again. Money,
diversity, density, and creativity.
Is that the...
Well, so then when on a national level, when the Muslim ban was actually in the national news, our staff came together and said, how can we react to what's happening? And within 2 weeks' time, we put together an exhibition called Muslim in New York. And one of the great things is, really, museums often spend a lot of time putting together exhibitions, and rightfully so, adding a lot of scholarship and putting a lot of resources behind it. But we knew we needed to react quickly, and so we took images from our collection. And some of these images came into the museum's collection in the 1940s that were acquired by us that show everyday Muslim life in New York City. So we have some great images of Muslims in the 1940s, and we also have images that we collected in, as recently as 2 or 3 years ago, and even are currently collecting. And so we put them up on the wall just to really celebrate the richness of immigrants in New York, and particularly the Muslim community here.
What kind of reaction?
It's been fantastic. So we've gotten a tremendous response in the press. What also is incredibly moving is to see members of the Muslim community coming out and actually seeing these images of their community on the walls of the gallery.
I'm curious about something. In the digital age in which we live, with so many people believing that they can find out what it is they need or want to find out about the world
right
in the palm of their hand, the place for museums is?
It becomes a space where people can come to look at objects and to think about their history and in relationship to what's happening in the current world. I think that we are a repository of objects, of important objects, beautiful objects, as historical objects. And that ability to come together to share with your friends or your family or school students to come and look at them as a field trip, and to be able to have that experience one-on-one and have experts actually that are trusted scholarly experts who can tell you a story and explain a complicated situation in a simple and understandable way, and allow you to reflect on that, I think is really powerful. So, and it's being able to get out and about in the city rather than, we all spend a lot of time on our mobile devices, but that's a very solitary experience, and you don't hear the collective voices coming together in that.
Experience.
There's no communal.
For those who advocate for cuts, government cuts, in programs that support the arts, particularly smaller operations that rely on government funding, you say?
Right.
For the humanities, et cetera, et cetera.
It's imperative. The National Endowment for the Arts and the National Humanities have given us such a vital validation of the work that we do. We've received over $1 million in the last 5 years, and that $1 million, while compared to overall their national budget is relatively small, that means so much for us, because then it enables us to go out to other funders. When those organizations have put their stamp on it and their credibility, it shows that those projects have the substance and the depth to them for others to support too. So without that, we would really be at a loss. And certainly New York at its core, our exhibition received a $400,000 grant from the National Endowment of the Humanities, and we were very, very grateful for that gift.
We encourage people, Whitney, to go to 103rd and 5th.
Right, great.
To the Museum of the City of New York. And I want to thank you for joining us here on Public Television.
Thank you.
Well done.
Great.
We'll be right back right after
Excellent.
this.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by NJIT, PSE&G, New Jersey Sharing Network, RWJ Barnabas Health, Johnson & Johnson, Verizon, and by the law firm of Gibbons PC. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.